Hello and welcome to Nature Connections. Thanks everyone who's watching this video. In the Nature Connections video interview series, I talk to people from all paths of life, but who have one thing in common, which is that they help us to connect with nature and bring nature into our lives and into our homes. And so in today's episode, I'll be speaking with Daniela Rodriguez. Hi, Daniela, and thank you for joining me today.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. And then from Lisbon, then from Cascais, actually, close to Lisbon.
Yes.
Very nice.
So we're part of Lisbon.
That's true. I keep forgetting that. And so I discovered Daniela and her business, Forest Homes, while actually searching online for sort of home decor. I remember I was doing a Google search, I think. So Daniela is the founder and CEO of Forest Homes, which is an online shop that sells different types of products, either made from natural materials or depicting nature, like wallpaper, for example. But everything is with the goal to bring nature into our homes. And the most unique product actually are the live moss installations, which I'm excited to hear more about as well. So it'd be great to hear all about Forest Homes and everything you do. But maybe to start, if you could tell us, a bit about you, your story, and what brought you to start Forest Homes.
Great. Thank you so much for I was actually going to ask you, how did you find out about us?
There you go.
So, I love it that we are well situated there for you to discover us. At the very beginning, I'm a very science inclined person. I love to find like the proof or the research about things. I studied chemical engineering at the end. I think it was my interest of materials that comes out all the time. I like to, everything that I come with, I like to know, like, what does it do? And then I started living in a more sustainable way in different ways. And then I discovered that our homes, or the stuff that we put interiors, were really not being like, why do we create, like, why do we do it like we do it, right? So I started to research a lot on it, also on like a path. I did some work in energy at Schneider Electric, and we did solutions for saving energy and cutting emissions. So I was in the path, in this path of I stopped this work, and I was like, what can I do that really keeps pushing me through this path of making the world a bit better for our well-being mostly. So yeah, all these ideas kind of joining together, and I discovered biophilic design. Biophilic design, as you know, it's an area that it's quite new. I mean, it's not new, but it's not that mainstream yet. So that was part of my interest to bring biophilic design to every person, to make it easy. So that's how we started joining all these different brands, these different manufacturers that are creating products that are nature inspired in nature, and somehow, as you said, with natural materials, or depicting nature as well, and helping them not just find the products, but also to use them in a better way, so that people can reap the most benefits from their products and get the benefits for their own well-being. So for those that don't know, biophilic design, it sounds like a big word, but it's...
Yeah, tell us a bit more about what it is, and or how you perceive it as well. And Yeah.
Yeah, so it's incredible. I mean, biophilic design, it's very intuitive. So it's biophilia is our love for natural things or living things. And when you think about it, that's quite obvious. We're like, we see an animal, we see a natural
Yeah.
texture, we see something natural in comparison to something artificial, and we're gonna go, wow, like the natural thing. We're more interested around that. Where our bodies natural intuitively react positively to this. So something that was very intuitive was actually well researched throughout the years. And this is how they've discovered that our interiors and the way that we can arrange our spaces and the way that we can bring stuff in actually does create create different feelings on us. So we can feel more safe, or we can feel a bit more relaxed, or we can feel more alive, or we can feel more creative or productive, etc. So so biophilic design is actually creating, it's quite, you know, related to what interior designers have been saying for many years, which is, I mean, creating spaces, but not just how it looks, but how they feel. Um, and so it's going through the science of this and making it simple. The idea is to make it simple for everyone to be able to use it on their own. So that's the vision of Forest Homes in the year. So and we have biophilic design available for everyone. and and yeah.
And that came from, so like even like before, for example, starting like Schneider Electric, and like how did you think of getting into that space and that you know, specifically around nature? Like, do you have a particular, you know, affinity, or is it something in a way that you connect with nature that made you want to, you know, find ways to protect it and be more sustainable? Or was it just like, it was like the hot topic when you were chemical engineering? And so, yeah, I mean, it's also true, right? Sustainable living and
Yeah, I think it's all a bit mixed. I come from a family that isn't really that nature oriented. I was the only one kind of more like, okay, let's go outside. As I was telling you earlier, I lived in Canada for a few years, and I was living in a very small town in the really lost in the woods.
Wow.
And during this time, I was kind of, I was I was changed. Like I was 16 years old, and came from a city where, you know, it didn't really feel obvious to me. But when I was living there, I was a teenager, right? So I was like, I went through, it was a tough period of my life. In general, I had to separate from my family, and they were going through some tough times themselves. And when I was feeling a bit upset, I remember like I got out of the house and I went to nature. So, and I went through these walks, you know, on my own. Like that was what I felt. So I just kind of went and I started like draining all these feelings in nature. And it felt so good. So I'm now just speaking about it. I'm remembering this because I didn't really, but yeah. And then I mean, later on in life, then I always chose to like live more into nature naturally. It's just kind of felt, you know, a place that I felt good. And then after I took a sabbatical year too, and I went through all these different places up north in Europe. So
Wow.
I went through the forest, like the Black Forest in Germany, Austria. So we like at the beginning we were like, oh, let's go to cities, but then we weren't. Like after 2 or 3 cities, we're like, no, we're just gonna go to natural things all the time. So throughout about 9 months, that's just what we did. So we went through all the way, like all Europe, starting in France, all the way up to the North Pole. So we
Whoa,
kind of,
you went to the North Pole as like the, wow.
yeah, we went in the summer with the midnight sun.
Mm.
Yeah, and well, actually, it was it was a bit. We went through Norway at that point where we saw the midnight sun, and then a bit like 2 months later, in September, we went through Iceland, and there we saw like all the aurora borealis and all these things. So
Mm.
and all this time I was staying in nature the entire time, right?
Mm.
So like, so I think that when I came back, I was needing this somehow,
Yeah.
and I had this time where I was sitting in my home, and I was like, okay, like this needs more nature. Like, why is this? Why are the spaces designed like this? As I was telling you, like,
Mm.
why is it designed the way it is? Like we're supposed to feel um, a bit more safe. I feel like the spaces somehow with a natural environment, that's what it brings me. Like I feel safer. I
Mm.
feel calmer. So and then I started researching because I'm a very curious. That's my number one trait.
Mhm.
So I'm a very curious person, and I started researching like what it is. And so when I discovered Biophilic design, I was like, wow, like this
Mm.
is unbelievable. So yeah, that's how it all kind of connected.
Well, it started. And this was about what, you said 3, 4 years ago that
That
you
was about,
started Forest Homes?
yeah, so I started it, and it was a bit like an idea. I started slowly, researching a lot, getting to know like what was there and how I could bring something else, something different that wasn't like the same solution that is there, right? So um, I think biophilic design is a subject that it's very well known for interior designers,
Hmm.
and also the interior designers are our customers as well.
Yeah.
But for I mean, for the regular people, it's not something that you will
Mm.
easily
That
find
you
out
would
about.
turn to or know about or want to have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't even know. Like you're just gonna like go about getting a couch and
Mm.
getting a table, but then you don't think about, oh, maybe I will arrange my my kitchen area to like a little refuge, because I mean you don't really eat that, like we are that comes from a whole like a subject of evolution as well, if you think about it, like uh,
Mm. I hadn't thought
so
about that. Yeah.
we're kind of yeah, creating spaces so that the natural activities that we do in the spaces are within that same feeling, within that are supporting us
Hmm.
to eat, sleep, to
Yeah.
learn.
Hmm. Great.
Oh,
And so can you tell us a bit more about the different sort of like products that you like home decor products and the different things that you sell on Forest Homes, and specifically like a bit more about the live moss as well, because that's a very specific way of, to bring nature into our homes, and something that, as you were saying, many people don't even really know about. Or um yeah, tell us a bit more about what Forest Home brings to us.
yeah, yes. So there are different ways where we can bring nature, right? So um, that's again part of um, offering as much. Our mission is to bring as much possible options to connect with nature in regards to your style, or I mean, your preferred way of maintaining your interiors. So in that sense, that's why we offer with like a variety of things that also range in styles.
Yeah,
And part of, I mean, what a common thing is always the plants, right? So people are like, okay, bring
absolutely.
plants. And a lot of people are, I mean, they cannot keep plants because um, either they are not in the space the entire time, so
Mm.
they can water the plants, or yeah, it's mainly that. Or also a lot of people say they cannot keep plants alive, but that's also just about learning. It's not that
Yeah, but it's
much.
definitely a bit more of a hobby than it is a real design, almost, or a real element of decor. It comes
Yeah,
with more than just, yeah, put it there and it'll look good and feel good.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, in the looks of, okay, like what do we do in spaces in like offices or
Mhm.
restaurants, and they are a bit covered and they don't get as much sunlight. And often, I mean, people are not there the entire time. I mean, offices can close in vacations and all these sorts of things. So what kind of solution can come in this space? So that's how the moss preservation techniques comes to be. And basically what we offer at Forest Homes is all natural, is the best. I mean, there are a few solutions out there with the principle, but
Mhm.
they are not all preserved the same. So our technique is, it's all natural, and these plants are cultivated like any other plant that you come to eat, or
Mhm.
that come into your home. And the process is all also involves natural substances. And once, I mean, it's all put in the wall, you don't need to put any once it's put in the frame, you can also put it in like in a custom size that you desire.
Yeah,
And there, need to water it, or no need to put light.
amazing.
Yeah, because they are preserved in this way, and they will last as much as you don't put water in them, or put direct sunlight. So with direct sunlight, maybe they will lose a bit of their color, because as everything, I mean, you
Mhm.
put it in the sun all the time and it will burn, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same. You can't put them in direct sunlight for a
Mhm.
long time, only indirect. And I mean, it's a solution that we love and that we use in offices a lot, in homes,
Mhm.
and in my space here, can't see now, but we have a lot of different plants preserved in the bathroom, in the kitchen, like spaces
Mm.
where you don't have plants. And so it's great.
That's fascinating, actually. Even in the even in the bathroom, like, because one thing that a lot of, well, I've had a lot of trouble with is bathrooms with no natural lights, and then you're always trying to put a plant in there, but they always die because even like the most dried up cactus needs light. Um, so that's really good to know. And the other uh, products that you have, I guess you work with different makers, creators that use these natural materials. How do you find them? How do you come across these people and decide that you want to show their work and sell their work?
Well, so now it has been very I mean, a lot of research. I've come to like travel also to places and
Mm.
meet who is making this kind of thing, because the thing is, I want to see the things in life, right? So first thing is I also like coming into seeing the product. So a lot of the manufacturers are in Germany, for example. So I'll travel to Germany and I get to meet all these different brands and see their products, and that's a way we can assure that the product works, right? But that means we're still very small in that sense, because everything is like curated through me.
Yeah.
Basically. And yeah, I mean, there are so many different brands out there that we would like to bring in, and makers and artisans and people doing amazing work with natural products, and a nice process in all that guarantees that the quality delivered is consistent. So, for example, yeah, I mean, also a lot of products are very unique, like the moss
Yeah. Mhm.
trees. They are a consistent quality, but they will all be different from each other.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, one way is to go there, or also get in contact with them.
Mhm.
But it's been great, because such as you, like, we get to discuss with so many people that are involved into like wanting to change a lot of like common materials
Yeah.
into bringing, like, innovating with natural
Mhm.
stuff. That's like, wow,
Mhm.
um I love this kind of thing. So
Mhm.
mm, it's been super informing, and I believe, I mean, I would love that in the future it's a bit bigger, so that, I mean, I mean, we get also like people, oh, I want to sell my products through your platform. And I really wish that I mean, at this moment, we're still a small company, so we don't have that capacity,
Mm.
uh, in a lot of people at the same time. So it takes a while to introduce a product, to get through all the logistics, to assure that everything will go
Mhm.
smooth. So it's not. I mean, it has its process.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a vision to have as a good offer. I mean, it's very
Mm.
important that it's very high quality, and all inspired in nature and sustainable.
Yeah.
So three things
Mm.
are.
You already have such an incredible selection on your website. I mean, you talk about, yeah, if you're being small, but like I remember looking at the rugs because I was also, home designing your rugs, and then you have like obviously the wallpapers that are incredible, and then the birch, the whole birch collection as well, like made from birch bark. That's really unique as well. I hadn't seen that anywhere else. I definitely see the real link to nature materials, and
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you. That's great. It's
no,
lovely to
really.
hear.
And actually I was curious because obviously you have a background in as you were saying, like more on the scientific side and the material side, um and you were just telling us about sort of all these different innovations that are happening. Do you have a sort of one material that you're excited about, like natural material that you're excited about, or maybe one? Oh, can you hear me? Yeah, sorry, I think it jumped a bit. Or one type of process that you're excited about for using nature in our homes?
Yeah, I'm excited about so many. There
Good to hear that there's many innovations.
are. I mean, maybe I can. I mean, there's so many different things. Like, for example, I can show you something.
Yeah.
There is. I mean, these are
Mhm.
baskets. They are made with recycled paper, but if you look at them, they are made in a way that they can be wet, they can be they can resist the outdoors, and they are still made of recycled paper. This
Mm.
is brand,
Yeah.
and it works
Wow.
and it works with many different recycled materials. So they have an amazing innovation in terms of material. For example, there is how do you call it? Ecofelt. It's also made. You know, felt is also quite good for the outdoors. I mean, in this way, because otherwise it's not that sustainable and not that durable in the outdoors. But it's made with also recyclable materials, and so you can put this Ecofelt. I don't know if you're gonna show the images if I can bring some stuff.
Yeah, go ahead. We can see everything in the video. Your home is a forest home sanctuary.
It is. Yeah. For example, you have this is the Ecofelt. So this is, I don't think this is resistant in the outside, but these are made for the outdoors, and they're so. I mean, forget all these like plastic containers. I mean, you can put your plants here. You can put storage outdoors, and it just looks amazing.
And so it's Ecofelt, and how is it different from felt? Maybe I missed it. What is it?
It's made of recyclable materials.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I had a description, but I don't have it here.
Well, you have these products on your website anyways, right? So we can go and have a look to learn more.
Yeah, and then for example, this is a tile, and it's made of birch bark. So as you can see, this is all instead of concrete, and which is it's not a very sustainable industry because it makes a lot of debris for like afterwards. It's very contaminating. So a bit of in a way of reducing. I mean, tiles is something that we use. It's kind of thinking. I mean, think of the products that build like they make the most difference. So like tiles can cover an entire building or an entire so I mean this makes a big difference because once you change you put in a material that has that is better with the environment. I mean, also looks like you are.
It's amazing.
Out of a tree.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I want to make a print of it.
Yeah, so that those are the birch bark tiles. We have different types. I mean, we offer these for the interior designers, but
yeah,
they're not yet on the website. So I'm giving you a sneak peek.
Yeah, that's amazing because okay, go ahead. Sorry, finish.
Yeah, I mean, for example, a lot of the wallpaper out there. I mean, the ones that we have are made of PVC-free material, and the paper is from sustainable forest practices. Also, the inks are certified non-contaminant. So that's huge because a lot of people are wallpapering their spaces, and they're using large quantities of wallpaper that like sometimes is made of vinyls or is made of PVC. So it's also one of my dreams to make it so that people are using much more of this paper instead of the vinyl ones. It's true that they have a gorgeous texture, some of them, and bring you can make reliefs like stuff in reliefs and stuff like this, but It's not, I mean, you can find so many beautiful designs that are made from this kind of paper instead of vinyl, that I think it's an important solution as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the plants, the preserved plants, they are such a difference. I mean, instead of putting plastic plants, that that we can
Yeah, with
reduce.
little care, yet you have live plants that are emitting the
Exactly.
oxygen that you know that you want from plants. And
Yeah, and they're everything is degradable, so you're not gonna
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
something. It's gonna last for years, instead, like it's gonna last for your lifetime.
Mm.
So we need more plastic plants, this kind of thing. So we have
Mm.
preserved flowers. Preserved flowers are also growing in their in their variety.
Yeah.
For example, we have eucalyptus is
Show us
quite
more.
so much. So like eucalyptus, for example,
Oh
is,
yeah.
so you have preserved eucalyptus,
Mm.
roses, there,
Okay.
yeah. You
And
you find,
preserved is different to just dried?
yeah, it is. It
Okay.
is. Because these plants are not, I mean, when they are preserved, when they in their process of preserving them,
Mhm.
they are not supposed to be dry, because you
Mm.
want to, the idea is that they are, that the natural solution in which they are going to be submerged,
Mhm.
the natural pigment of the flower or
Mm.
of the plant. So if they are dry, then you cannot preserve that, because they're just going to be gray, and then you have to paint them.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not to do that, but to keep the real colors.
Amazing. I hadn't realized that actually, that there was another way to have flowers like this. And you can do that on any flower, or you were talking about roses.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we have roses. We have there's a big variety
Mm.
from being developed, because sometimes, I
Okay.
mean, it's a process, so you have to see, um, you have to iterate until the process is right, and the
Mhm.
flower looks good, because sometimes they can look good, but then they don't, they're not as resistant for a while. So
Yeah.
the ones we offer are at least 3 to 5 years is the least time
Mm.
will be alive. So I mean,
Yeah, that's already great.
compare changing your flowers every, there's people that get flower deliveries every week, because they want to keep, it's amazing to have
Mhm.
flowers, but if you can have as well fresh flowers that would last you for 5 years, that's a huge difference.
That's amazing. I mean, there's a big trend in dried flowers. Well, in London at least, I'm sure in other places as well. And yeah, it definitely already feels like it can last a little longer. But the dried flowers, they always end up falling when you're hoovering, or when you're like bumping into it, and then you got all you have to pick it up and buy new ones. But this sounds like a really interesting process. Um, just to wrap up, because we could talk. I mean, I have many other questions for you in a sort of more I would say separate, like interested in your business and how you made everything work. But for the purpose of this interview, and specifically on like nature, and it's really interesting, because I discovered this whole other dimension to what you do and what you sell in Forest Homes, because I could obviously see the biophilic design, and you know what you're doing is to try and bring these benefits of nature, as you were telling us about them earlier on, into our lives through the home decor. But then there's also this whole dimension and of making everything eco-friendly, and everything, because it's not just about having a mural, like a wallpaper that's depicting nature. It's also a wallpaper that's sustainable, that's eco-friendly, and you know, driving that change in behaviors through what you're doing. So it's like mind-blowing. It's on two levels for our own well-being and for the environment's well-being, basically.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's also another difference when I was looking at, you know, what we're missing, like what do we need, you know? So either there are people doing design inspired in nature, but it's not necessarily sustainable, or there are people doing sustainable design, but it's not really based on bringing well-being. So
Mhm.
and it's meeting the two.
Absolutely. Empowered by science, which is a really interesting approach. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all this. I do have one last question that I always ask out of curiosity is, you've told us about all the sort of the forest bathing almost that you did when you were young in Canada, and this trip, you know, being in nature and trees. Is there like any specific tree or you know, maybe not a type of tree, but just one tree or a tree in a certain place that brings positive memories for you, or that you feel attached to,
Hmm.
or maybe just the forests in general, but I'm just curious to, in terms of trees specifically.
I have experienced a lot of different forest environments coming from very close to the Amazon jungle. Uh,
Mm.
so
Oh, because
from there,
we haven't spoke about this, but you're originally from Venezuela, right? And close to the forest, close to the Amazon. Okay.
and also, I mean, uh, where I come from, it's close to the Caribbean. So imagine, I don't know, maybe you have been to Costa Rica or something. So it's like a jungle,
Mm.
a jungle close to the beach. So it's very similar.
Mm.
And I mean, I think for me, like a tree that was very present in my life growing up was a mango tree, because we have so many mango trees and mangoes falling and from the trees all the time, and people are giving away mangoes, like, oh, I can't, you know.
Yeah.
mango, mango, like everything, because there's so many. So like the mango tree is to me like a very present tree, because I've grown, like in my house there was a mango tree, my grandma had a mango tree, everyone kind of has a mango tree,
Mm.
and we used to climb the tree, you know, like sit in this tree. So this is a very present, I mean, not in my like in the latest years I've been a bit more away from this
Mm.
type of environment, but I love this tree. But I didn't mention it also, that it's like I've been learning a lot about forest bathing as well.
Okay.
So connecting with nature, with our different senses, and doing all of this meditations around connecting to a tree, for example,
Mm.
and yeah, experiencing nature with all your senses. And this really has helped me. I mean, I know it's like um, it's my true story, and I feel very, very strongly about this, because I experienced it myself. I started doing forest bathing like on my own, like going. I love going to the forest on my own, and
Mm.
sometimes I would tell a friend, let's go. But if nobody can come, I would go to the forest at least twice per week, at
Mm.
least, to walk on my own, and truly connect with each sense. So I start like connecting with hearing, because it's kind of the most basic. I mean, what if you close your eyes, like hearing can allow you to be really there and experience a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
You are often you are yeah, you are seeing, but you're not really hearing. But
Mm.
I do. each sense one by one. So I started with hearing, then it's the smells, then it's sight, then taste and touch. And then I can totally see how my senses today, like after doing forest bathing for about, let's say, 2 years now, are more attuned than before. Like it's a crazy thing. Like I
Incredible.
environment, and it's crazy the things that I can hear now and that I can sense now more to doing forest bathing practices. So
Wonderful. I'd love to hear about all this, where you learned all this.
actually, well, I have this nice book that
Yeah.
I can recommend. Oh, well, it's a very famous one, probably not. Dr. Queen Lee.
Shirin Yoku. Great.
So it's very simple. It talks a lot about Japan, of course. But there, you have very nice techniques, and one of these amazing things that it's mood assessment that you do before and after going to the forest, and just try it by curiosity one day. I will send it to you. It's like
Yeah.
a profile of mood states. So it asks for your mood, and you can try. Yeah, and you do it before and after the walk. And I encourage you to try it because it's wow, it's mind blowing.
Great. Yeah. It's really nice that there's sort of a science and a guidance around this as well, because you do have these feelings when you, well, I mean, I personally do when I go in a forest. I definitely feel something and I feel better and I sense some things, but still you're rarely alone and you rarely like make the effort to really notice. And so having the guidance sounds really good. Thanks for sharing that. And thank you for everything and for telling us all about your story and what Forest Home does. And yeah, obviously recommend everyone to have a look at your website, and it'll be in the links as well. But yeah, thanks so much, Daniela. And hopefully we'll be in touch again to talk about other things as well.
Yeah, exactly. Feel
really
free.
Nice to meet you.
Sure, feel free to. I love to also get to know more about you.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, and bye.
Bye.